I'm Irvin Baxter with Endtime Ministries, and this is your prophecy in the news. A very interesting development is taking place in Israel right now. The chief Sephardi Rabbi of Israel has issued an order that Jews should not be going up to the Temple Mount. Now, a lot of Jews have been going up there in recent weeks and actually months because there's a certain organization of the Jews in Israel that says if we don't go up there, the message is going to be sent to the world that this is not an important place to us. After all, the Muslims go up there by the hundreds and the thousands. They're up there every Friday worshiping on the Muslim holy day. They're up there at the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock. So the world's going to see them there every single week, and us Jews don't go there at all because the rabbis tell us we should not be there. Now, why do the rabbis say that the Jews should not go? Well, it's because in Numbers chapter number 19, there's an entire chapter devoted to the teaching about ritual impurity or contact with a dead body. And what this teaching says under the Old Testament law is if a person has ever had contact with a dead body, you've ever been to a hospital where someone died, you were there while they died, or you walked through a cemetery, or you went to a funeral home and you visited a dead body there, you are plunged into a state of ritual impurity because being in the presence of death has tainted you. Now, Numbers 19 gives us the cure for that ritual impurity, and that is that a red heifer of the third year is taken, burnt, her ashes mingled with water, and there's a process to go through as described there in Numbers chapter 19. And so when a person goes through this process, they can be cleansed from ritual impurity. Then, and only then, are they allowed to go up to the sanctuary. Well, the Temple Mount is the location of the sanctuary. Furthermore, that's where the holiest of holies is. So there's two problems. Number one, only the chief rabbi of Israel, only the high priest is supposed to go into the Holy of Holies. And they don't know for positive where that is. At least some say they don't. And then secondly, you're not supposed to go up to the sanctuary of the Lord at all. You're not supposed to go into the temple at all if you're in this state of ritual impurity. So the Sephardic rabbi is saying, you must not go there. However, Rabbi Chaim Richmond, the executive director of the Temple Institute, says we can go there because we now know where the temple was. We now know where the Holy of Holies was. And furthermore, many famous Jewish teachers went up to the Temple Mount, including the Rambam, who's also known as Moses Mohammedes. So when we deal with this situation, this is what the dispute is really all about. And it's hit headline news in the Jerusalem Post over the last week or so. Now, why is all this important? Because the prophecies of the Bible say that the Jews are actually going to consent to the Temple Mount being placed under a sharing arrangement, and the Muslims are as well. All this is going to be enforced by the international community. It's in the Bible, Revelation chapter 11, verse 1 and 2, that the temple will be built and the temple will be under Jewish control, but the outer court is going to be under Arabic control, under Gentile control. That's exactly the way things are going to be 42 months before the Battle of Armageddon and the second coming of Jesus Christ. So this dispute that we see raging right now over authority over the Temple Mount has everything to do with the events of Bible prophecy that are just ahead. What we're seeing right now is the Jews actually control the Temple Mount. They captured it in the 1967 war. However, in order to respect the Muslims, they have put the Temple Mount under the authority of the Muslim Waqf, which is a religious authority, and they don't let anyone worship there except Muslims. You can't take a Bible onto the Temple Mount. You cannot pray on the Temple Mount. They will arrest you if you do. Only Muslims are allowed to be there. However, Jews say we must build our temple on the Temple Mount. So this argument raging between these two elements of Judaism right now has everything to do with the prophecies of the Bible and the prophecy that states there is going to be a sharing arrangement under the peace process that's presently being pushed by President Obama. There is also going to be a temple built on the Temple Mount, and that's the reason all this is being discussed in the news of Israel right now. All the prophecies, 2,000 years old, and yet you and I are watching them unfold in front of our eyes in the year 2012. Prophecy is coming to pass. The peace agreement will soon be signed. Israel will build its temple on the Temple Mount, and then shortly thereafter, the final 3.5 years to Armageddon will begin. And one more thing, it's at Armageddon that Jesus Christ comes back to this earth and establishes his kingdom that will never pass away and never be destroyed. So the news you're seeing today is directly relating to the fulfillment of these prophecies, telling us that Jesus Christ is returning to the earth very soon now. I'm Reverend Baxter with Endtime Ministries, and this has been your Prophecy in the News.